4, 3, 2.
Welcome to the Afterthoughts podcast. As every year, as you know, on the Valentine's Day special, we do the special live double date edition.
Wow. Amen.
So today, I want to welcome my co-host, Samantha Wekenman.
Hello, everyone.
As you know, every year we take charge
every
in
year.
this. Every single
our
year on the
space.
double date.
Yep.
But with double date, that insinuates that we have dates. So would you like to introduce your date to the people?
You guys might not know this guy. This is Doug.
Hey,
Husband
guys.
Of almost
Hi,
10
Doug.
years.
Hey, Ethan.
Yeah. Oh, don't do my
Oh,
introduction.
you haven't introduced yourself.
That's right. They don't know who I'm anonymous still.
Okay.
Yes, this is my date, Ethan Matott of the Afterthoughts podcast.
Oh,
Welcome.
Ethan. How you doing?
Doug. Yes,
Yeah.
from,
So nice
from
of you
earlier.
guys.
Ladies,
join
thanks for
us.
having us
Thank
on
you
your
for-
podcast. Been looking forward to this since last double date, last Valentine's
Just
Day.
been desperate to get on this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we do it every year,
Avid
so you're
listener.
welcome back next year as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about the podcast? What do we do here?
So we talk about our thoughts after stuff.
Oh,
The
got it.
Afterthoughts podcast.
Brilliant concept.
Wow.
We often get calls on our phone here.
Okay.
If you need to make a call,
I could call anyone?
yeah, it's working. It's ready.
Perfect.
You just use these numbers here. Sam, are there any other props that we need to introduce?
Yeah, the most important one. If you have a really important thought and you want to
Oh,
chime in.
Incredibly loud.
oh, that's a brilliant prop. It's hilarious.
That's a
Chime
great
in.
idea. How'd you guys think of that?
Definitely
so
my
funny.
idea, but
We
Yeah.
did not think of that. It's not the best idea. It's very
Yeah.
loud.
That's like Tonight Show caliber.
wow.
This is fun stuff,
This is
guys.
good stuff.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
You
Thanks
guys,
for-
have,
thanks
yeah,
for
you guys
having
have
us.
created one of the greatest podcasts.
Thank
in
you.
the
Yeah,
history
I
of
hear this is a
podcasts.
viral
It's been a hit.
podcast.
It's
Yeah.
episode 26, so
Wow.
you tell me.
People are listening a lot, is what I'm hearing.
They've stuck around.
Dozens of viewers.
Somehow.
Dozens and
Somehow.
dozens.
And more people are finding out that you need to watch on YouTube, not listen. Because you don't see all the fun.
Yeah.
You know? But don't
Yep.
watch while you drive,
No.
for that is dangerous.
Right.
Not the best idea.
I do have to share with everyone that Ryan is no longer with us.
Wow.
For this episode.
dramatic.
But that's only because he is
For this episode.
single today.
He's not here.
That's why he's not on the double date marriage episode, because he
Where
is
could I get
single
this
today.
book and when?
Pre-order this book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, other
Everywhere
places.
you get your books. I'm
Wherever
not
you get your
single,
books.
but I want to read it.
Yes.
It's good.
Yes.
Fantastic book.
Sam got to proofread.
I did.
Yes.
Just a couple
Did you find
chapters.
proof of concept when you were proofreading?
I did.
Good.
I said yes.
Yes. Perfect.
Proof is
Signed
proof
off.
there.
That's
It's there.
that's the first edition signed copy right there.
Wow.
Don't even look at it. It's too valuable. Well, Steph, great
Okay.
job
Yeah.
Yeah.
introducing us. This has been kind of like a lifelong dream for Steph since we
I
started the podcast.
am
You know, it's
the
funny.
biggest fan of
These
this
are probably
podcast.
two of our biggest fans.
I would say so.
It's
I-
shocking though because we've heard all the jokes for about a decade now.
I literally hate admitting that I am the biggest fan of this podcast,
Yeah,
but I
that's-
will admit it.
And that's a good, I think, learning lesson of marriage is you should resent liking what your spouse does.
Does
It
anyone-
should just drive you crazy.
Does anyone blame me? Yeah.
Yeah, next to every great man is a woman rolling her eyes, Ethan. And
yes.
you know how we used to
must be
do
great.
youth ministry in Laguna Beach? And,
do. I
and
remember.
Everybody had mansions up on the cliffs overlooking the
Oh,
Pacific
yes,
Ocean,
yes.
and you'd think this doesn't get old.
Oh my gosh.
But even to them, it gets old.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you think about being married to the two of us. As far as the humor that you get in your life every
yes.
day, it's kind of like the equivalent of a mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
You think, surely this
Is
doesn't
it?
get old. How
it, Doug?
lucky.
Well said.
How lucky y'all are that you just get this all the time. Everybody else gets it for an hour a week on a podcast.
Yeah, if you're ever
you guys
wondering
live it.
Nonstop.
If this is how they always are, the answer is yes.
That's the
They're
thing.
always
No,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. That's why I don't understand why I love this podcast so much. Like, you'd think that I would be like, I can't handle another hour.
Again,
But you can't
feel
go
like-
without it.
No,
Why?
I was telling somebody this
Well,
the other
we
day.
live our lives
my,
together.
My like for the,
unsure
the
why.
jokes
Oh, I can't
comes
handle
in
another
waves.
hour.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm up here now. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I can handle this. I
No,
can hear a
it's-
couple more jokes in about 6 months. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's enough.
It's true.
I constantly
It's true.
find her, even if it's like getting ready in the morning or whatever she's doing, I hear my voice coming from the other room.
Constantly.
And I hear her listening to this podcast, and then I can just hear her rolling her eyes. And I hear her going, "Oh my gosh, babe, you guys are so dumb." And I'm thinking, I'm not forcing you to watch this.
You don't have to.
choose to watch
You don't
every
have to.
episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
So
You'd
maybe
think-
it is dumb, but you are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So
Okay, and this is why
am-
I don't like to admit that.
It is.
I don't.
It is an
This
honor.
is why.
It is an honor for me
yes.
to get to see my wife get to be on this podcast.
Yeah.
That is when you get to see your spouse live their dreams, when you get to help them realize a dream, that's something special. And as a sacrificial husband, I'm very
Because so much of marriage
honored and
is
thankful.
I see you for who you are, but I also see everything God made you to be.
Right.
And to see the two of you be
Oh,
everything
boy.
God made you to be today on the Afterthoughts
That's
podcast.
We welcomed
beautiful,
you
beautiful,
here. I just
beautiful
want to
thing.
remember we welcomed you here today. So
right.
All right.
Yes. Well,
Choose
So
your next
what
words
else do
wisely.
we have, guys? What
Kayla,
else do
Kayla
we,
had she was like, hey, do you think I should ask when we do questions with Kayla? Should I ask like, what's your favorite thing about your husband? And I said, we don't have enough time. We just that we don't. No one's gonna watch a 3-hour episode. That's too
I will
much.
say I
Too much
am-
content.
Well,
I
actually, I think
am-
they would watch a 3-hour. We just don't have time to record it.
We have other things
Right.
to do. Yeah, we have some. We have
I
a
am- I'm
podcast,
fangirling right now.
podcaster thing we're speaking at.
because I get asked a question by Kayla, and
Oh,
I am
yeah.
just
That
this
is- Kayla's become
this might
a
be
true
the best
star.
part of the whole
She's a
podcast.
star.
I had two friends of mine that were like trying as hard as they could not to really acknowledge that they liked the podcast.
Yeah.
But both very genuinely like, but by the way, Kayla is so good on a podcast. She's
You
just
have the
so
voice.
great.
She does.
Oh, thank you.
And the face, but
Practice every morning.
people aren't seeing it. So.
in the mirror.
You're doing great.
Asking myself questions.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Just Logan's just like, I can't. This is like a press conference now. I can't. You keep just asking me questions constantly.
Last week at the welcome party, and by the way, we do a welcome party every weekend for people who are relatively new to the church. And
Nice.
there were a few of us on staff introducing ourselves, and I was next to Kayla, and she said, and I'm Kayla. And somebody said, are you the Kayla? And then I
Wow.
said, yes,
I hope
she
you get
is
recognized
the
for
Kayla.
this
don't.
more than they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
That brings
for
me so
sure.
much joy.
Can
Remember
I
us-
ask
remember
you
us
a
when-
question, Kayla?
Go for it, Steph.
Oh wait. This segment is called Answers with Kayla.
Okay, here we go. Kayla, how do you come up with such great questions?
I'm usually driving in the car, and then I just think of it.
Wow.
I'm a thinker.
Eternally curious.
love it.
Let me
that
take
Kayla.
let me take notes on that process. Okay,
Yeah.
drive in my car, think about it, be a thinker.
I like it.
Good.
I think
Yeah.
about random stuff.
Okay,
So-
let me put that down too. Think about random stuff.
Interesting.
Should help
That's
you guys
good. And
sermon
remember,
prep.
context is what was it? So key to stuff.
It's so important to stuff.
Yeah,
stuff.
I almost quoted you.
Kayla, I
Yeah.
heard
hate
I heard
myself.
through the Afterthoughts rumor mill
Got it.
that you have a game.
I have a game,
We're gonna play.
guys. The game is called Who Am I?
Ooh, I love a
I'm going
game.
to give you guys
Let's do this.
Here we go.
some sticky notes to put on your forehead. You can't look, so
Should we close our
when you
eyes?
Put them
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Okay.
I will hand it to you and then put it on your forehead.
Okay.
And then you can only ask yes or no questions because everybody else can only answer yes or no. So,
Got
Okay.
it.
Okay, understood.
I'm going to try to trick
Michael
you
Scott
into
played
not a
this
yes or
game
no
once.
answer.
Okay,
Yes, we did.
unnecessary.
Probably a
but-
lot more
Yeah.
put that.
inappropriate than this will be, but
Everybody, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. All right, Steph. Here you go.
Is it Pitbull?
Yours is
Oh, it's
actually
I put
Pitbull.
it. Okay.
yours is actually spot on.
oh.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm.
This on your forehead. Don't look. All right. Ready?
Kayla, I'm
I
not
don't know who
looking.
that is.
All right.
You don't know who it is?
Forehead.
Well, that's not good for
Where's
me.
the sticky
Oh,
part?
nice,
Okay.
nice. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna look at that picture because I can see a reflection and I don't cheat at games. So
Sam,
Oh my
The
gosh.
integrity on this show
Wow.
is at an all-time.
Wow.
Doug, do you
Thank
know
you,
mine?
Ryan.
I do know yours.
If Ryan was
wasn't,
here,
like,
he would have.
implying anybody
Sam,
at
do
this
you know
table
mine?
cheats.
Ryan would have, but he is no longer with
Did
us.
the camera catch that?
Allegedly.
Nothing? Okay.
All
All right. Who
right.
wants to go
Wait.
first?
Okay.
We'll
Wait.
go.
Let me see. Turn.
Go
Look at me.
Doug first. So Doug,
So-
you have to figure out who you are.
He asks
to figure
us
out-
questions,
You
and we
ask
can
us
only say yes or no.
questions.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Mine's falling off.
Am I on a TV show?
No.
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 But there are other options.
Am I in a movie?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Great job.
Am I in one of my favorite movies?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Do I keep going
You
until
are
I get
you.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
you should ask, am I in one of Doug Wekenman's favorite movies? Because
Am-
right now you're this person.
Oh, am I in one of Doug Wekenman's favorite movies?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Doug Wekenman has the best favorite movies, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true. Same favorite movies.
Am I somebody that Doug Wekenman wants to be like?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so.
Sure.
In some ways.
Am I Maverick?
Yes.
I'm actually very impressed with you.
That was so few
So
questions.
I just won.
Well,
What did he win, Kayla? Tell him what he's won.
He's won nothing. The
You get to be on episode 27.
Yes.
Congrats.
Good job. man.
Wow.
We
Thanks,
might have you
guys.
back.
We'll see. We're not
Okay.
sure.
Come on.
Let's do Samantha.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask what I was gonna ask. Am I in a TV show?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Do you guys even know each other?
Are you trying to make me lose?
No.
Okay. Wait. So what did I?
So
okay.
not on a TV
Not
show.
on a TV show.
Yes.
Thank you. So am I in a movie?
Yes.
Is it one of Samantha Wekenman's favorite movies?
Yes.
I
Is
bet.
it? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm saying yes, but doesn't seem super sure about that yes.
A movie you really like.
Okay.
But you asked favorite, like your favorite. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Kayla, questions are hard.
They are.
Wow.
Yeah. She majored in questions at Auburn. She was in the questions
Is
program.
the movie?
Minored in concerns.
I mean, obviously, movies are fictional.
Certificate in
But
comments.
is
Yeah.
the movie like? Could it actually happen in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the reason the movie was made.
Is it a love story?
I wouldn't classify
That's
it
not
as
the
that.
key part of it, but there is that.
Oh gosh.
Ask some Samantha related questions.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, if you just.
Is this movie also a book?
no.
Oh.
I don't want to say.
Don't give it away, Steph.
Come on.
Well, I've
want
already
Sam to
lost
win.
because I have more questions than you.
That's okay. That's fine.
It's.
Is
There's
that,
no
is
real
that part of
prizes.
it?
I'm unbeatable.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna get on my first guess.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. How many questions do I get?
Yeah.
I
Just
Just keep asking.
okay. Okay. Not a book.
No.
I'm a movie.
yes.
Could happen in real life.
Yep.
Did it happen in real life?
No.
Is it
No.
based off a true
No.
story?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I mean, no, but many people experience.
It's based on a concept that is very real.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's not a love story.
No.
No, but there is a romance in it.
Yeah.
Ask about the person.
There you go.
Yeah. This is.
Characteristics.
Oh, okay.
I-
Honestly, I'm blanking on any movies I like other than Harry Potter, so this is tough for me. What do I watch? Oh, is she blonde?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it Kate
Yes.
Hudson?
No.
No. But there we go. You're on the
But
right
here
track
we go.
now.
Here we
yeah.
go.
Okay. Is she kind of known for being maybe dumb?
No.
No.
Oh,
She's known for
so
being
not Reese
kinda-
Witherspoon. Not her, but her character in Legally Blonde.
wow.
Sorry, Elle Woods.
Got it. I've never
You're
seen
getting
Legally
closer.
Blonde.
You haven't?
I need
really
to see
It's
it.
a great
sad
movie.
about
You're
that.
you're warming up.
Probably don't need to see it.
Okay. I'm thinking too hard about the
Yeah.
movies that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
For sure.
Think more about a person.
Yeah.
Like, shit,
Okay. So
more
she's
like
blonde.
country life.
And does she wear glasses?
No.
No.
I don't know, guys.
Ask like some character traits, like, am I nice?
Oh. Am I Regina George?
Yes.
Oh, that is one of my. I do really like that movie.
Yeah.
I love Rachel McAdams. If I had a chance to meet her,
Yeah,
Rachel, if you're listening,
she is.
I would love.
She's actually scheduled to
meet
come
you.
on next week.
Yeah.
Place
Yeah,
of
she's-
Doug.
She's been
I've
asking.
seen all your movies.
Yeah.
Because I love you as a person.
Regina George.
Okay.
Yep.
Am I next or Ethan?
Let's go, Ethan. We'll go.
Alrighty.
Am I a character?
Yes.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Am I an amazing person?
You think
I think so.
Yeah.
You think so.
I think based off of what's going around the table, I have a guess already.
All right.
Am I Jack Pearson?
No.
You
Although we
wish.
do
You
love
wish.
Jack Pearson.
Yes.
And I would have said
Amazing.
Okay,
Not,
okay.
in,
amazing
Yeah,
person.
amazing.
Am I?
Absolutely.
That's true.
not in the context of what
kinda-
you think of how you define amazing.
You-
Am I?
as
Am
who
I?
you are,
Am
you
I
think you're
involved
pretty
in
amazing.
sports?
No.
Oh, I won't know.
You're a character.
Character.
Man,
Well,
Jack Pearson was a good guess though.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Am I Coach Taylor?
No.
No.
No, he's involved in sports. Am I in a TV show?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I Tommy Shelby?
No.
I don't even know who that is.
Probably not an amazing person. I saw a commercial for the show.
Never seen that.
Am I in a show that has been watched by Stefani Matott?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Has she watched that show in the last year?
Yes.
Thought that would help me.
We watch so many shows.
We're show people. We are show
It
people.
doesn't narrow it down.
We're tell people.
Am I?
That's the kind of stuff I hate to laugh at.
Am I in the office? Am I in the office?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I Jim Halpert?
No.
Am I Dwight Schrute?
See, Dwight thinks he's the best person
And I also
there
think
is.
Dwight is amazing.
He
Dwight
is.
Schrute.
I am doing better
guy
than you
who-
have ever been or ever will be.
Happy Valentine's Day, Dwight.
Yep.
Okay, I'm
There's-
already a little confused because Ethan doesn't know who mine is.
You don't?
Interesting.
Oh.
So I'll ask you two.
Okay.
That should actually be
Bring
a
it
clue
on.
for you.
Am I a woman?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I in a show?
He doesn't know who women are. Just never knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is that?
Bring
What? Who is she?
Am I in a show?
Yes.
Am I in a show that I love?
Yes. Sorry, my eyes were really telling.
I know, I'm just looking at Sam. Am I in The Office?
No.
Am I in Modern Family?
No.
Am I in This Is Us?
No.
Guys, what shows do I love? Am I in
Just
Remember,
One
I don't
Tree Hill?
remember-
yes.
Oh, am I
Yeah.
am I Peyton?
Warmer.
Ugh.
Warmer, you're on fire.
No.
Am I Brooke?
Yes.
That's the
Brooke
that's
Davis.
The,
Brooke
yeah,
Davis.
Brooke Davis.
Brooke Davis.
Our girl B. Davis.
saw-
We
okay.
love her.
I knew
Yeah.
Sam and I would get that quickly.
Oh, I'm
I'd-
kind
I'd
of
say we
disappointed I
won.
didn't get Regina
Oh, we're going
sooner,
again?
We can
but-
do one more time.
Lightning
Yes.
round.
Okay,
Lightning
come on,
round.
let's go.
We gotta go.
Oh,
We're already
I-
4 minutes in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should I go last?
see
Should
how
I
this
go last?
happens?
Because I'll
This
probably
does
just get it right
happen
away.
quickly
Hey, but-
and easily.
This guy Josh Capers, who's the biggest fan of Afterthoughts, he was like, people that skip through the beginning, like that's the good stuff on the show.
Let's go.
I mean, today it is for sure. Oh, I'm closing. Okay.
All right. Yes. Okay, go,
All right,
go, Doug.
now we're going. Am I in a movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I in Harry Potter?
Yes.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
You
Am I a girl?
No.
No.
Am I Ron Weasley?
Oh! You're such a cheater.
You had asked if you were a girl. You would have got that in 3 questions.
No way. There's no way.
Well, it's everyone's detecting that these
For
are
a
people
second-
that we are like
Yeah.
have a
Okay.
connection.
For a second, I thought Luna Lovegood.
Oh, 'cause your dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sam,
Okay.
Okay, who's gonna get second place? That's the question.
am I a girl?
Okay. I'm
Michael, am I a girl?
okay. Am I in a movie?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well,
Am I in a TV show?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why
really
questions
far
are
down.
so. Am I a girl?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I figured.
Yeah.
Am I blonde?
Dirty blonde.
Dirty blonde.
Blonde.
Am I in One Tree Hill?
No.
Am I in the OC?
No.
No.
But that is much better than One Tree Hill, I bet.
Oh, we're not
shut
going to
your mouth.
start.
Okay.
Not gonna start.
Am I mean?
No.
No.
Dirty blonde, and I'm not mean, and I'm in a TV show. Am I in Modern Family?
No. Think of all the shows you love.
Yeah, just start naming them.
Grey's Anatomy.
No.
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 We should talk about that terrible show. Love it, hate it.
We
I
love
don't-
drama and we hate drama.
I'm really.
Think Sam Weck.
Yeah.
Kinda like, what's your wheelhouse?
That's the problem is I'm thinking too much about
Yes.
What's your
it.
wheelhouse? Do you, like,
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
oh no.
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 More classic.
No.
Full House.
No.
Nope. just more in your wheelhouse.
Like trivia, like go along the lines of trivia, what you'd crush it at.
yeah.
Oh, Friends.
Yes.
Hi, Rachel.
Yes.
Green. That should have been my first guess.
Yes.
Why am I so bad at this?
Okay. Am I a real?
Probably because I'm so good at it.
Am I a real person?
Yes.
Okay. Am I in sports?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh boy. What?
I wonder.
I'm thinking about who. It's related to the person, obviously.
See, I'm an overthinker, and that's
Okay.
why this is so
in
hard for me.
sports, am I a football player?
Yes.
Oh no. I know what these guys have done. Am I a guy that I will not give credit to on this podcast?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Enough said. I won't say it.
Okay, Ethan loses.
I will lose before I give credit. Before I give credit to
Shake
one
it
of
off.
the two
Shake
guys
it
that I
off
bet
and
it is.
say it,
Nope.
Come
Will
on,
not.
man.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, Steph,
I
you're
refuse to give airtime
You got
to
it.
that.
Am I in a show?
No.
No.
Am I in a movie?
Yes.
Yes.
It really is
This
far
is so
down.
good. This is so good.
A movie?
Yeah.
Am I like this person?
No.
Well, you guys don't live with her.
No, Steph,
No,
you
you
are
are
not.
It would be tough to
Am I a
be.
bad person?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Horrible.
really bad.
So bad.
And it's,
Evil.
you said this has to do with
You'll
us.
understand. You'll
You'll
understand why.
get it.
Evil person?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
evil.
Villain.
Am I cartoon?
No,
No. You-
probably in some
Could
things.
look
Something,
like
but
one,
that's
though.
not where we're
But what
going
you
for
have
here.
seen you in, you are not.
Yes.
Okay. This is hard.
Yeah.
Am I in a movie that I've seen recently?
No.
No.
Like a movie I watched as a kid?
No.
No.
In between.
Think about my tween years. Am I?
No.
With Ethan, just not
You
recently.
watched with
Yeah.
Ethan.
Yeah. There's a great story behind this.
Yeah.
Star Wars?
Yes.
Yes.
Darth Maul?
Yes.
That's gonna be hard to explain.
That's good.
That's
That's good.
Kayla, you know me.
Good job, Kayla.
Thank you.
Steph, you need a hoodie that just says, I am Darth Maul.
I am Darth Maul.
Darth Maul? Question mark?
Question?
Oh boy.
Thank you for those.
Yes,
That was-
yes, of
that was
course,
good
yeah.
times.
Lindsay thought that was a funny story we told her.
Yeah.
that was
By the
a
way,
good story.
Lindsay works at Red Rocks. That's where we know her from. Everyone was like, "Who was that?" You just said
Oh,
she was
yeah.
your friend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Also,
She works up in Denver.
friend,
Red Rocks. She's is our
coworker.
friend.
Great.
We love her.
Just great.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
To skip over, since we're running out of time here,
Yes, yes.
let's just skip to the end to
Okay.
transition for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, questions with Kayla.
Yeah.
One question edition.
Yeah, one
Question with Kayla.
Question.
Kayla.
Yes.
How did y'all meet? Give us little spark notes of that story.
Okay. Well, we
I
went
met
to high
Ethan?
school.
Yeah.
We went to high school.
Yeah.
We were in high school together. Ended up planning a church.
So, one night.
One day. Yep. Us.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
and Steph met when Ethan started dating her.
Yes.
Yes.
And me and Sam
True.
met in elementary school.
Yes.
That's,
Because we went to the same elementary
We
school.
sure did.
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what you were asking?
Yep, for sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Move on.
Me and
Go ahead.
Sam
You're
met.
oldest.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met in Jamaica on a mission trip.
That's where you guys actually met. You didn't meet at CU, right?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
I knew who Doug was because we were involved in a college Christian ministry called the Annex. Woo! Shout out to our roots.
Come on.
And he was the full-time intern at the time, and I was a sophomore at CU. So I knew
Correct.
who he was because he
Yeah.
was involved in running the show and doing announcements and stuff, and I thought he was cute.
She was
know.
smitten.
Racy.
Yeah.
Little mature content warning.
Yep. PG-13 rated. Yep. And then we went on a large mission trip with that with like 90 college students.
Ethan was there.
Yep.
Yep. Brian was there.
Catadupa.
Catadupa.
Catadupa. Every night we broke into small groups to make a large group smaller so people could get a chance to know each other.
Life change
similar
happens in
to-
circles, not rows.
Yep.
Groups at Red Rocks. But
Very similar.
moving on.
And yeah, I met my future wife in a small group on a mission trip
That's right.
pursuing Jesus.
That's awesome.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Great job.
Yep. So we were put in the same group, and my mission for that mission trip became flirting with her.
How do you do?
Yeah, he didn't help anyone. On the trip.
Great.
Mission
But I
accomplished.
was pretty smitten. Yeah. Do people use that word?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a Gen
the
Z
cool
term now, I
ones
bet.
do.
Oh,
Yeah, for
totally.
sure.
Then I remember being in the car when you called her to ask her on your first date.
Yep. You gave me a pump up talk.
Sure did.
I called her to ask
You
her
were
out.
there in the car.
When
Yes.
he called you, not on your
Yes.
first
No,
date.
I
Fully believe.
Yep.
hiding in the trunk.
I did it on speakerphone. And it's like, you got to have your buddies, you know? And asked you out. And then you said yes.
I did.
We
I
went
said
out on a
yes.
date.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was just
And I said,
bliss
this
from
is
there,
a date.
right?
From just absolute bliss.
Yeah, bliss
Nothing
from
ever
there,
went
man.
wrong.
Yep.
No.
It's been a
No.
dream, E. And then we broke up a month later
Yeah.
on Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
There
whose
it is.
idea was that though?
Every year on the Valentine special, we tell this story.
Every
When Doug
year.
broke up
Every
with
year.
Sarah
Never
on
gets
Love
old.
Valentine's
to
Day.
hear about it.
Actually, always, like, for years, I've just said, I've broken up with my girlfriend who's now my wife on Valentine's Day, and now I hate Valentine's Day, but that's another story for another day, and I've actually never told the story.
Today's the day, Doug.
Wow.
Tell the story,
Yeah.
Doug.
Well,
Doug.
I wasn't planning on doing it, just to clarify. I feel like I knew, even on February 13th, this relationship is probably going to end. That first month was challenging. We can get into that in a second for other reasons. But I was under the impression this isn't going to end. Of course, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So I have to take her out. Like, I can't really do it now and be the jerk who breaks up with her the day before. So I said, all right, let's go on one more date. And maybe
I'll break up with her after.
I wasn't expecting to. I was like, let's just see. But then I think I knew that night. All right, here's genuinely what I thought. And I still, to this day, don't know if it was the right decision or not. Probably
I mean,
not.
You ended up married, so.
Yeah. But
True.
this was the conundrum. I thought, I know it's Valentine's Day. I hate Valentine's Day so much. I know it's Valentine's Day, but I can't let this girl go to bed another night thinking this is working when I know it's not. Valentine's Day or not, I have to. And so I ended it. Not sure if that was the right call or not. It sucked. It was terrible.
Horrible.
Were you happy, Sam?
Wow. So no, pretty devastated, caught off guard.
What's your favorite story?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it did end up being a good thing for me. The stuff Doug wasn't talking about was a lot of stuff that was going on with my family. My parents had about a year before that recently divorced, and I was just dealing with a lot of emotional shrapnel, is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that came from that I should say I was dealing with it, but I wasn't dealing with it at all. And so, we shared testimonies with our whole small group on our mission trip, and he knew all the dark, miserable things about everything that had happened that I didn't really want anybody to know. And still, I just could not open up to him. And it was really hard for me and painful and uncomfortable. And it's really hard to have a relationship with somebody who doesn't open up to you. So that was, but it was good. The breakup was
true.
good on the other
Yeah.
side of it. It actually repaired my relationship with my dad in a lot of ways, because
Yeah.
I called him almost every day to be like, why do boys suck, essentially, and just to pick his brain about what he thought about
Yeah.
relationships and dating and why, this might be the right thing, or I don't feel like it's the right thing. And
Yeah.
but it was a good growing season.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like the whole month that we dated at first, I was like, there's more to this girl. Like, but I can't seem to get through to her.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, maybe I can't. And broke up with her, dropped her back off at her apartment, drove home to our house. And you were on the front porch smoking a cigar, and you just happened to have another cigar, and so I smoked cigars with
Sounds
you.
right. Just knew.
And I told you the
Valentine's
whole. I told you the whole story.
Guess
and
I didn't have a Valentine that year.
I guess not,
Just
man.
smoking a stogie on the front porch.
But I will say, I feel like that like snaps you out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden
I
you
always
were
talk
like,
about
yeah.
that, like that month before, and even a few months prior. That I have always been a very like warm, outgoing person, and after everything with my parents, I just was not. It was like I like closed in on myself, and I wanted to hide every vulnerable part of myself, and that made me so mad. Like a lot of the reasons were you're not, won't open up to me or talk to me, and in my brain I was thinking, just give me some time, but it just made me so mad that it like snapped me out of it, and I like reached out I think a few days later and was like, can we talk? And I gave you a piece of my mind on a pew in a church. And
Nice.
Oh, I remember.
In the Lord's house. Good call.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is the honest
what I'm talking
conversation
about.
I was trying to have.
Did you expect Doug when you met him to be more mature than he was because he has the name of a grandpa?
You know, I never thought of his name being like a grandpa until
I've always thought of it.
years later because
Yeah.
we make jokes about it all the time. But
Okay.
yeah,
That's why I call you E, because if I say Ethan, I feel like I'm talking to a 12-year-old. Sorry, back to you, babe.
No.
Well, then we
Thanks to
got
Mom
back
and Dad.
together on another mission trip a month after that.
Where let's also point out that we avoided each other the
Yeah.
entire time, like we were in middle school. It was great.
Yeah.
It was really healthy.
How did you guys end up getting? I was there, but I don't.
Oh yeah, the last day.
So busy not caring.
You guys took so busy tuning out all the
I
drama.
was shoveling something somewhere.
You were mixing concrete or
Yeah.
something like
Just
that.
such a
doing the Lord's
servant.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leading
working at the
worship for-
orphanage. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys took us on like a fun because you guys were leading the trip together.
Mm-hmm.
You guys.
That was an
Shocking.
irresponsible decision by our college director, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
I said these two guys lead an entire mission trip of 25 people.
Yeah.
Everyone
We all
came
survived.
back. That's true.
There
Everyone
were
came
some
back.
injuries, but we survived.
Yes, Doug gave me stitches on that trip.
Yes, he did.
I did. The second time I've given you stitches.
That was the
No.
Oh, that was the first of two. I've literally given Ethan stitches 2 times.
I thought the second time was just super glue. Sorry, getting off the point.
That's true.
That does happen
yeah.
on this podcast a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. We
That's
love,
kind
we
of
love tangents.
It's kind of our
Your brand.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
riffing.
What were we talking about? Oh,
What you see
yes.
is what you get.
Okay.
Ain't nobody gonna break in my stride.
Keep going. Yep.
Ain't nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you guys took us on a fun snorkeling outing, and then we stayed on this island, and there was a dock, and it was the last night, so everybody stayed up hanging out and talking. And
Sharing
then
testimonies.
I was sitting on the edge of the dock with my friend Megan, and Doug was talking to somebody else. I don't remember who. And then that person left, and my friend Megan looked, and eyes just like, and got up and ran away from me. And I was sitting there, and I looked over, and Doug was looking at me, and we were like, what? So she, purposefully gave us like a second to be really awkward with each other.
Nice.
And then we sat on that dock for 4 hours and talked. And
Yep.
Wow. Are you guys still tired?
Exhausted
Stayed up so late.
for other reasons, but children, things.
Yes.
But yeah, and it wasn't like we got back and immediately started dating again. It was slow conversations and deciding
Yeah, we
if
took
we're
our
gonna
time
make
with
this,
it.
if we're gonna, do this again, we want to actually do it the right way. And
Because
we
you
did,
also had looming that you were going to move and then be gone for a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you had a long distance.
which I
there.
did
Yep.
know.
We
But
had
Did you
our-
ever hear that they were traveling for a year?
Did
you know
I've
that?
heard a rumor.
I don't know if you. Okay.
Yeah, that they traveled.
Well, I'm
I
sure
was
you heard it.
just
Everybody's talking
telling
about
it.
it.
I was
Blocked it
just helping to
out in a
tell the
lot of
story.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
So
Who invited her?
to sum all of it up, from that point on, we started dating slowly, and then we did 18 months of long distance. 1 year
Very,
of that
very
was
long distance.
the longest distance that's possible.
Yes.
Because we were traveling doing mission work in third world countries where there was no even Wi-Fi. And so we like FaceTimed or Skyped twice that entire year.
There was no FaceTime.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
exist.
One Skype.
That's
I
right.
don't even think I had
Skype.
an iPhone. I think I had a Razor.
And all we
Oh,
did,
yeah, you did.
all we did for a year was write
right.
letters and emails.
But half
Remember
the
that?
time you'd like freeze.
I wrote her every day
on
for
the
a
Skype
year.
Video.
That's right.
But do
It
you
was
kind of
terrible.
look back
Doug
and
just
feel like
cried
that was
himself
really
to sleep
special?
every night.
Oh,
that
yeah.
night.
That like
Yeah.
the letter writing and the
Yeah.
time apart.
You learn to
but, like,
communicate in a way
Yeah.
that you're forced to.
Yeah, it's all you
but
have is communication.
It's better than texting in a lot of ways where things can be out of context or misunderstood and
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
a
just
lot of
little
It was the
bits
opposite of texting
conversation.
because texting
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
one sentence, one phrase, but we wrote like letters
Yeah.
Yeah.
and emails and thoughts because it was maybe I got one or two from her a week and I got to send
Right.
one or two a week. So
Yeah.
it's let me sit down and write this and pour my heart into it. And we learned a lot about communication because that's all we had. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, so it was big. It was, if anybody is doing long distance right now, so much about long distance sucks. And at the very same time, it does present an incredible opportunity to get better at communication and find creative ways to get closer to each other, even though geography is separating you. And that, because long distance is only seasonal, and that can make you stronger when it's over.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good.
Made it through.
Yeah,
got
Yeah.
engaged.
we did.
And this Valentine's Day is going to be
Oh,
Just
just,
so
just
great.
a dream.
yeah.
Every
Guys are having
February
the best-
14th
best
is just
Valentine's
a
ever.
dream.
Different.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Great.
awesome, guys.
It's very different, but
I love Valentine's Day now.
Yeah,
so
big Valentine's
biggest
guy.
Yeah.
fan. Yeah, you love it.
I do.
Yeah.
I really love that, hearing your story. I've heard it a couple times.
What's
I really
what's your
love
it.
anniversary?
Thanks,
Who knows?
Dating or marriage?
Let's ask Doug.
Oh, May 14th is dating,
Wow.
and then June 27th is marriage.
And this year will be
10.
10.
10
decade.
years.
10
Yeah.
years.
The Big
Isn't that
10.
wild?
That is
I
crazy.
can't believe that sometimes.
yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like I feel, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this too. You think you just forget all the stuff before. This person is the only person I was ever with, but you also are like, how has it been this long?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Steph can't even figure out how she can just bear another hour of her life listening to me talk on our podcast. So
And yet I love it.
it's
and choose.
it's
so
been
much
10 years,
love.
but for Steph,
Mm-hmm.
might as well be
Fine line
1,000.
between love and hate.
Might as well be 1,000. Might as well be
How'd you guys
1,000
meet?
years or one day.
We
Who
came
knows?
we came back from traveling for a year. I had been single. Got to a place in my life where I felt like I could actually take on a relationship. And went to my brother's wedding right when we got back and saw this young lady in a blue dress.
That was me.
And I thought, I was like,
Brooke
who?
Davis, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, it was weird that
Brooke
she was painted red as Darth Maul. That was kind of threw me off.
Darth Steph.
Huge Darth Maul fan.
We got to explain that a little bit.
We did it last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So go back and watch last week. I did not have the guts to say anything to her at the wedding. So I
I
hadn't really
also had
talked
a
to a girl
sinus
in a year.
infection, so I left the wedding early.
Yeah.
So we didn't. We
And I
didn't
can
meet.
attest to the
Ships
fact
in the
that they
night.
were all really bad at talking to girls when they got back. They were
Yeah, just
very
bad at-
awkward.
We're just good at talking to basically just each other.
Could only talk to me
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it
I
was
was like
that for
a
an entire
sister,
year.
and yeah, not to him. But yeah,
Never.
anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. And I hadn't talked to a girl in that context in a while. So I just saw her, observed, thought she was quite attractive. And then told my sister-in-law, because I knew she was at the wedding because she knew my new sister-in-law. I was like, hey, when you get back from your honeymoon, why don't you set me up with your friend?
And really quickly, my sister-in-law was my friend from high school and middle school, and we had reconnected and been hanging out. She had started a Bible study, and we were hanging out before when you guys were on your
Yes.
trip. So she had also been planting seeds about her brother-in-law who was coming home and continue.
Missionary. He's
All
out,
the-
there, out there in the fields.
All
My
the
gosh.
hints that she dropped, were they accurate or were they...
They were.
Embellished.
Yeah?
Embellished.
They were
For
slightly.
sure.
Slightly.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
knew what I was expecting
Is that
when I
Kate?
saw
Is
this
that
guy.
the boy you were
That's
talking
him?
about?
No, not at all.
Then
Oh, Mean Girls.
they invited us. So this is my brother, JJ, who was also on an episode of the Afterthoughts podcast. Him and his wife, Kate, invited us over for dinner a little bit after their wedding at their new place together. And we went, first time meeting, first time talking. I was sold right there. We hung out one night and I was like, I will marry
This
this
is true.
girl.
Yeah.
I would marry
He
this girl.
told me
said
that
that
he was
many
fluent
times.
in Spanish, which
Yeah.
is not
Everyone
true.
says
He's
but
told a
I
lot
said
of people
that.
that,
yeah,
Steph.
Say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
So
because he
that's-
spent,
Did you
a week in
really?
Costa Rica
No.
on a mission trip.
He was talking about all of his travel, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "So do you speak any other languages? You've been living all over the world." And he's like, "Just Spanish, but really not anything
Okay,
else." And
I promise you,
remember
yeah.
JJ and Kate looking at me and being like,
I could
He's
get
panicking.
by.
He's trying to impress her. He's
I could
just
get by
and I found out
in a
quickly
Spanish-speaking
after
country.
He does not speak fluent
about it.
Spanish. Okay,
I
continue.
took years of Spanish.
Okay,
Anyway.
go ahead and
Do
do
you
the rest of this
remember?
episode in Spanish, in
Okay,
Espanol,
can
por
you do
favor.
subtitles for me? And then I did get her phone number that night at the end of the dinner, but then when I tried to hang out with her from there, she was not having it. Not receptive, not interested
Not interested.
in me, which, is wounding. So
There's
you should just
obviously
pray for
lots
me.
of backstory there, but I did in fact say the next day that I was going to be leaving town for a while, that I was just not in the place for this to go any further. That's how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah, then she
Then
left for
fast
6
forward.
months. Yep. She left for 6 months, came back to the U.S., and got invited to come to a Rockies baseball game in
By
Denver
my
with us.
sister-in-law.
By my Kate,
Who again
who's always
was
had my back.
plotting.
Always
Yeah.
plotting.
Always had my back.
Kate
Invited me
Matott.
to a game with Ethan's extra ticket.
And at that
And
point, I was fluent. I had learned Spanish in the time she
Not
was gone.
true.
And so I
But at
spoke
that
to her.
point,
Kate knew. She
I-
said you just have to see his personality because it's.
Once you break
Once
through
you
that
get
tough
to
outer
know
shell,
him.
I know he's rugged. and-
He's all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But if you
No.
are looking to settle,
yeah.
he's
Okay,
available.
No.
He's
At
the
that
perfect
time,
guy
though,
to settle for.
I had come back. They had their year-long
I'd
trip
like you to settle
of
for Ethan.
discovering themselves and having all this
Discovering,
like
okay.
growth and
Probably
you know.
gonna say that.
I had the time away that I feel like I also needed. Like you said, like in that right timing, I came back and was very much at this point like, well, this guy, I shot him down. There's no way he's going to be
sure
interested. But at this point, I was like, I am at a place where maybe I'm ready. But I still didn't admit it because when I agreed to go to the baseball game, I told my mom before I was leaving. She's like, so who are you going with? She had been talking to Kate and knew about this and was plotting to get me to be with Ethan.
Yeah,
And I
everyone
was
had
like-
my back in this time.
And
except
I was
for
like,
Steph.
I'm going with that guy, Ethan. But he's like a missions pastor, so I'm just going to talk about missions because that's what I want to do with my life. So I'm just going to go talk about
course.
missions. My mom was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Doing the
cool,
Lord's
cool.
work.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about missions once
Nope.
the whole game.
We went to the baseball game. We talked the whole time. There were extra innings, so we got to talk even longer. And then
You didn't talk about missions once.
No.
didn't talk about.
Was this on the church's dime?
And then we got these giant ice cream cones. We bonded over that.
Yeah.
She gave me a ride to my car after the game, and I had to pee so bad that I just like was like, "All right, see ya," and just
Yeah.
ran. I got out of her car as fast as I could. 'cause
And I
was
really
about to
thought
pee
he
my pants.
was. I was like, oh, I ruined my shot with him. Like he's not interested because it was kind of like building up. I was like, maybe he'll kiss me. Maybe he'll ask for my
Whoa.
number again. Maybe I don't know.
Excuse me.
And he's
Okay.
like, all right, thanks for the ride. See ya. And just
Ran away.
And I was like, okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, right.
Were you thinking she was thinking that?
Absolutely not.
No.
He just had to
Still
pee.
didn't know.
And if he tried to kiss you, you wouldn't have gotten out of the car and ran?
No, not that day. I was
Okay.
in.
Nice. And then we started talking, hung out.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I
Quickly
met
started
Samantha the
dating?
night after.
That's right. We
Yeah.
all went out in
We all
Denver.
went out
Yes.
together. Yeah. It was
And
fun.
I remember.
there was some Denver Broncos players at the bar we were at, and one of them like looks at me where he's like standing right by the group we're with, and he like looks at Steph and he's like, "Is that your girl?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And he just went, "Wow, you won the lottery." It's like, yeah, thanks
Oh
so
my
much.
God. I still
Yeah.
don't know if that happened.
And
He
the
was
but
shocked.
Denver Broncos.
He
did
was
that to
shocked
you.
as I was.
Yeah.
that was the next night after the Rockies game, and
Yeah.
ever since.
And then 6 months later, we got engaged. 6 months after that, we got married.
When you know, you
True
know.
that.
When you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I always say, I've had friends like in the past say, you know, oh, did you? They hear this story and like, wow, like 6 months, you just when you knew, you knew, and I'm like, yeah. But it was also so much of like in God's right timing because we both had tried that
Preparation.
before and it was not the time,
Yeah.
and we didn't know, but we had both gotten to a place where we needed to be individually, and then it
yes.
clicked.
Yeah,
And then it
I
was
actually
right.
use your guys' like story timeline in a lot of pastoral meetings that I do because people, you know, girls will ask me, you know, how long did you and Doug date for? And I feel like I'm on this timeline with my boyfriend, or I'm single and I don't really know, you know, what God has for me. And I always will bring up like our timeline was so different,
Right.
and a lot of different circumstances. But that doesn't mean there's like any less love or any
Right.
less plans that God has for us. It was just we had different things that we had to experience. He was long distance for
Yeah.
18 months, and I think that's like my favorite thing to say is like we dated for 3 years before we got engaged.
Yeah.
And then another 6 months and we got married, and you guys dated for 6 months, engaged, and then married 6 months later. And
Yeah.
both we all have had our share of challenges and things to overcome, but so much purpose and like the timeline and when things happen in life. So.
It's good for
Yeah.
people too to realize like, yeah, there's not a formula.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Because then
Exactly.
if I tell people our story, they're like, oh my gosh, well, if we're not sure yet and we've been dating for a
Yeah.
year, I'm like, well, that's our story. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone makes you feel that pressure of,
Yeah.
you should live your life exactly how I live my life.
Yeah.
And most people, you're like, I don't want your life.
Yeah,
so
they
why would I
forget
do that?
they're
Yeah.
the exception, or you guys are the exception. Everybody else is the rule
Right.
to,
Yeah.
you know, the formula. or
Yeah,
timeline or
everyone
whatever.
has their own
Everyone's
timeline, but the
different.
key ingredients were the same.
Right.
timeline was different, but
Yeah.
the key ingredients were the same of getting to a healthy place personally,
Yeah.
in your faith,
Yeah.
having that
Yeah.
foundation built, being ready to walk into a more serious relationship where you're not just dating to date, which all of us were in that place, just different timelines.
Different
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Well, and I even look
absolutely.
at like there's pros I think to either side too. I look at now 10 years later and look at how much maybe unnecessary pain or frustration we could have avoided. Maybe had we taken the time to, and not even just together, but individually know who I am, the things I struggle with, the things that I deal with, to bring into our relationship
Yeah.
and our marriage of how can we battle this together. Whereas we were kind of just like, we
good.
know, let's do this. And then
Yeah.
a couple years into marriage, we're like, oh, those
Okay.
things are there. You know, which,
Yeah.
Those things
wait,
are there.
wait.
Man, we didn't have that.
yeah, that wasn't.
No.
It was smooth sailing for us.
And again,
Yeah.
I think the common denominator with marriage, no matter the timeline or whatever, is the choice, right? Like every day I'm still choosing you.
Right.
And whether those things come up a year into marriage or 10 years into marriage,
Yep.
because anything can come up, circumstances change, but yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
choice every day of
Yeah.
that's here, but I'm still choosing you no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, there's not a formula.
No,
and
there's
I wish
not.
there was, but you just have to.
Yeah, it's
make
almost
that
like there's
choice.
two extremes to talk about a pendulum swing for a second. You can have, this couple and they high school sweethearts and get married when they're 20 and 21 years old. And in marriage, they figure out a lot of stuff. And all that baggage they haven't healed from yet comes out in marriage, and they're making
great reveal.
they're making $10,000 each a year in marriage, and and then the other side of that would be, man, I wanna completely process everything. I want to be successful in everything I'm doing. I want to have arrived, and then I can enter into a covenant relationship with somebody else.
Right.
Kind of two polar opposite
Yep.
stories.
And for some people on that end, I think it's almost like you are going to find out so much information that you're going to talk yourself out of this,
Yeah.
because you're going to see all the imperfections and flaws to the extreme of the point where it's like, if that's your strategy, then you will never find somebody that you will commit to, because you can always find a reason not to. It's almost like
Yeah.
at some point
Always, yeah.
you have to just
Oh,
dive in and
yeah.
say, can I just choose this person every day?
Yeah.
Knowing there's going to be things that I can't foresee right now, but
Yeah.
for who they are and who I see us becoming together,
Yeah.
you got to dive in at some
For
point.
sure. And couples on either end, like if somebody's over here, I had a conversation with a young couple recently wanting to get married, very young, and I was just trying to bump them a little ways back towards the center. And I told them, because so much of our story, 10 years into marriage, the first 2 years, maybe 3, were very, very, very challenging.
Yeah.
And they told me, well, you and your wife figured it out. And I told them, I said, I actually don't want you to necessarily have that story.
Yeah.
Right.
I think if you took 6 months to a year and each figured out some of this stuff,
Yep.
you'll enter into this marriage and you'll thrive so much more. Not that you can't figure it out while you're married.
yeah.
Because I actually love that part about our story. We had 2 very hard years, but they have made us into who we are now.
Yeah.
And then people over here, I try to like bump. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you have to
Yeah.
like you're living so much of your life wanting to arrive before you invite somebody into it, but so much of this life you're living where you're still trying to become somebody. Don't you want to like share that part of your life with somebody?
Yeah.
You guys can figure it out together.
Yeah.
I love stories at the same time of people who get married when they're 21 and they're making $10,000 a year for their whole household, and they
Yeah.
struggled and they lived on ramen, and that's beautiful
out.
stories also,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all different versions of it. Yeah, and I think for our first few years of marriage, a lot of the stuff that was so hard for us was, again, a lot of outside circumstances, mostly on my end with my family, because I just had a lot of baggage that I brought into our marriage that I hadn't healed from. Might say I was a little stubborn, but never, not me. And just didn't want, I did not want to start pulling all the ugly things out and bringing them into the light, because I didn't want to see how ugly they were. And so I just kind of swept them under the rug. And, that comes to a head where you're like, oh, I'm not just myself anymore. And we come into marriage and we think, oh, we're two halves and we're making a whole. And we're like, oh, actually, no, I'm a whole person and he's a whole person. And we're coming together both with our brokenness and our baggage and our stuff. And I was very unwilling to make any changes and to more because I was sad, not because I didn't care. And I was just very, very sad all the time. And that led to a lot of depression, very debilitating depression, where I was not working at the time, still trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And he would leave for his job at Red Rocks, and I'd be on the couch, and he'd get home and I would still be on the couch. And just very sad and carrying a lot of weight. And anyway, I said it came to a head where it was like, oh, this is affecting my husband and this is affecting our marriage. And I have to figure this stuff out. And I have to have conversations with my mom and with my dad and get some of this stuff out of me before it completely ruins my marriage.
Yeah. That I feel like the stuff that we carry, it's gonna come out at some point, but we all believe the myth that we can kind of hold it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of back to the original story of Adam and Eve, of like suddenly they're just gonna cover themselves with fig leaves and try to pretend it's not there. And their shame, their struggles, whatever, which I think was our story too. I think early in marriage we just hid from each other anything that would be a flaw because we were still afraid that we might let the other one down, be rejected. And some of that was roots from her parents' divorce and things like that. That led to kind of like the first couple years for us, I think we're kind of just on the surface in a lot of ways, like pretending a lot of that stuff wasn't there. We're just going to have fun because we're young and married and there's issues here, but we don't really know what to do with them. We're going to pretend that's not the case. And it wasn't until maybe more like year 5, 6, that stuff really started to come out and we couldn't really hide anymore.
Yeah.
Facing, like we're parents now. We've got to deal with this stuff, and that led to going to marriage counseling and having to learn how to communicate with each other and not just let me show you the best of me and we'll just act like even though we live in the same house, all these flaws and issues aren't there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too, like you said, is not out of not caring, but out of a protection and because I love you so much. Like I don't want it to ever be bad, or I don't want you to see the bad, or I don't want you to feel the bad. But kind of like you were saying too, pulling people, I look back at so many things and I'm like, we figured it out and it's made us stronger in a lot of ways. And that has been our choice and we continue to choose. But I also feel that pull for people to be like, oh, but you could avoid some unnecessary years of pain or struggle or frustration. And so I think I've met with a couple women recently who are before, not engaged yet, but on the way, and are just talking about, the therapy they're going to and the pastors they're meeting with and this and that. And I'm just like, I admire so much people who are so self-aware and to do that work ahead of time to lay the foundation for a solid marriage. And you're not going to have it all figured out because you're going to be two people that come together and new things come up all the time.
But it would have done us good to do more of that.
But heck
for sure. Yeah. Like you just said, two become one, not two halves becoming one. Although mathematically that makes sense.
Right.
And I think a lot of us believe I feel incomplete. I feel like a half and I just need to get married and then I'll feel like a whole.
Yeah. But then you're putting this unnecessary pressure on the other person to be the other part of your half. And
Absolutely.
you have to complete me.
And it's crushing.
It doesn't
Crushing
work.
It does not work.
It
It's so much
doesn't work.
pressure.
It never works.
And you want to be the hero who's like, yep, I can sort this out and you're going to be fixed and healed because now we're married and I'm the most important person in your life. And then when that doesn't work, then you start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
That's got about a 2 or 3 year shelf life.
Yeah.
And then it gives way to bitterness, resentment, and anger.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that this morning, actually, but I think Ethan said before that one of the first real conversations we had before we were engaged, he always talks about how I said something along the lines of like, I don't need you. Like, I want you, but I truly don't need you. And at that point, it was so true. Like, that was true. I had been in a place, like I said, where I'd reached this place where it was like, God had done a lot in my heart and in my life, and I felt so just like dependent and desperate for Him that I was just like, I'm good. I don't need. And I
Which
think,
was like the most attractive quality.
right? And God needed to get me to that place, right? And so I said that. I meant it fully. It worked. I'm not that I'm just saying, like, whatever.
It was yes.
But I was thinking about that this morning. One of the things I've thought through about marriage is like, that was the case, and over time, it's something that I think I've had to, and maybe will continue to have to remind myself of over and over and over, because then I didn't need him. I wanted him, and then he chose me, and then we start dating, and then we get engaged, and then we get married, and then you love this person so much that it's like he has become my everything. And then, you have a family, you have kids, and that's my everything. And whether it's my personality or whatever, but I've seen myself over time lose sight of that. Like, I don't need him. Like, I do, you know what I'm saying? But, and I've thought back to that this morning, that the very first thing that I guess drew you to me in a way of truly being fully dependent and reliant on God only and not him was freeing to him, was attractive to him, whatever. But over time, I think it's just the human nature. And I was even thinking all throughout the Old Testament, especially, I feel like people, how often did they, a king or a generation would get rid of all the idols, right? And then the next generation would build up shrines to more idols, and they'd bring them back. And you just see this like back and forth. And I get so frustrated reading that, because I'm like, did you not learn? Like, just get rid of the freaking idols. God is your one true God. Like, let's move forward. But I've seen myself do that in marriage over the years, of like kind of bringing that idol back in my life, of Ethan or our family being like my only and my focus. And it should be your husband, your marriage, your family above all else. But really, I mean, it has to be God above all else. And I think that is, for whatever reason, just a struggle maybe that humans have, maybe women especially, I don't know. But for me, just that continual choice to also have that perspective shift back to like, God, you are first, and not just because, not for you, but for me. If you're my source and you're where I need to come first, then the marriage, the family, everything else truly flows from that. But it's just hard. It's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. What was, when you were in the dating and engagement phase, 2 questions. What was the best like wisdom or advice or thing you learned in that time that so much fruit happened in your marriage because of it? And what's something you look at, and if you're talking to a young couple that's dating or engaged, headed towards marriage, that you're like, gosh, I wish somebody had stopped me and told me this back then?
Yeah. Oh man.
Do you want to think for a second?
No, I have an answer. I think when we were dating, the thing that we learned, especially dating long distance, when we decided to continue dating, because that was a conversation that we had to have very early on, because I knew he's leaving not just the state for a few months, but also the country for a whole year. And this will be very hard, and I have to decide if this is what I want. And I remember a conversation of you telling me, like, I don't plan to have a normal life. I know I'm not going to have a normal life. And you were asking me, is that something that you can like see for yourself? And I remember telling you, I see that whatever God has for me, if we are meant to be, and if we end up together, then God won't just call you to that. He will call me to it as well. And so we decided, we are going to continue dating. We're going to stay together while you're traveling and doing your mission work. And I don't remember. I really wish I could. Where I read this, or if it came to me in a dream, I genuinely don't remember. But I read a quote, and I share it all the time because it's one of my favorite things, where it says, "Love is not love unless it is held with open hands." And I think that was just like a constant thing I had to relearn that whole year. Every time I was like so sad because I missed him, or stuff was going on with my family, if I was like gripping it so tightly, I was just suffocating it, and I couldn't like open my hands up and just like let God work in those things. And it's not even just love. It's friendships, it's relationships, it's trust is not trust until it's held in open hands, and just surrender. And if we had not broken up before you went on your trip, I think I would have relied on you so heavily to be like a savior in so many ways, because I would have, that's what I needed in that. No, I didn't I definitely needed in that season of my life, but it didn't need to be a person. It needed to be Jesus. And if we hadn't broken up, I wouldn't have figured that out and relied so heavily on like Jesus. And that year that you were gone, I need Jesus to like sustain me and to get me through. And I need to hold this with open hands and trust and rely on him that we'll come out of this on the other side. Surrender was a really big lesson for me in
That's
that.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dating. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think that whole quote, stop looking for the person and start becoming the person. Like become the person person you're looking for is looking for. That's while you're dating. And I think that's the greatest single advice that there is for somebody who wants to be married, is to pursue your completion only in God. Because the more you're complete only in Him, the more easy you're going to be married to, because you're going to need that person less, and you're going to show up bringing more to the table. And then I also would continue that thought into marriage, because we only kind of say that in the dating engagement stage. Continue becoming the person you're married to would want to grow old with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, continue becoming more and more complete, because a problematic married problems are just single people problems who are now together in the same house. It's just people problems. But the more, and healthy marriages are made of two, not one, two healthy and whole people who continue even well into marriage, a decade in, 2 decades in, 3 decades in, to become more and more the person that God has made them to be, complete in Him. I want to become more and more the person that you would want to grow old with for the rest of your life, you know?
That's really good.
And that's part of why we started the podcast. We knew our wives wanted to grow old with viral podcasters.
Exactly.
We knew that was important to them.
Here we are.
God,
Okay.
this
Yeah.
is
What do you
this is
got?
a non-negotiable for her father. Make our podcast viral. Yeah.
You said best advice?
That we got before we were married. What's something that was huge for us, and then what's something you wish, or that you would tell somebody that we didn't know?
This is kind of off the topic, but very more practical. I still look back at the advice we got with our finances in premarital.
That was going to be my answer.
Gotcha. We think
well.
so much alike.
Wow.
Yeah, just having a solid plan for our finances, budget, things like that. Very practical thing, but I look at all of the stress and worry that it's saved us, and that's been really valuable.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we've never fought about is money.
Which
And it's
is
because in our
wild.
premarital counseling,
Yeah.
this great couple, Dan and Kim, that we met with for however many times, they sat us down and made us make a budget together and put everything in front of each other. Like, here's the total money we have, which was
Not much.
not a lot, but
No.
we had to lay it all out. But then we started in that front, joining this together and having complete transparency about that.
Yeah.
So there's never been like a question or
Surprise
something
or-
hidden or whatever when it comes to our finances. I think what I wish we had translated that more into was the other parts of our marriage that probably needed to get brought out in the open in the
Yeah.
same way. And like,
Yeah.
okay, you need to see everything.
And
Yeah.
those
We
need to
things
talk through
for
all of
us
this.
personally were not the scary things to talk about.
Right.
Just because, and that might not be
Right.
everyone's case, but the
Right.
finances weren't like we
Yeah,
weren't
that was a
scared.
hugely helpful thing, but it was easier for us to approach that than
Yeah.
some of our other issues that we
Yeah.
just hadn't even known about yet or
Yeah.
refused to get into.
And that's the thing I was going to say. I wish I would, or I would tell other people, like I kind of already said, but I wish I would have, and part of it I wasn't aware, but put more of that work, I guess, in the front end of learning the things that I needed to work on, to heal from, that I needed more time with God on.
Yeah.
Things that I didn't even know I struggled with until years later, but just to really focus in on that and not just assume that I could gloss over it and I'd be fine now that I have a husband and those things are gone.
Yeah. Which
yeah.
we, earlier last year, we started this couples devotion thing together, and it kind of forces there's questions, so you kind of have to talk about stuff. And there were literally things we talked about. We're in year 10 of marriage that we're kind of looking at each other like, how did we not talk about
Wow.
this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's very us. Like we can.
we are both stonewallers. Like, if there's conflict, we
Yeah.
both shut down. We don't want to talk.
Yeah.
But it was, I think that's what I would say to a younger couple. It's like, whatever those things are that you are most avoiding are the things you most have to talk about.
In the
Otherwise, 10
beginning.
years later, you're going to talk about it. And the crazy thing for some of it was like, okay, we talked through it. We had like a week or two where we're kind of like wrestling through some stuff. In some ways felt like we were dating again, where it was like,
Yeah.
we're kind of like testing the waters, figuring some things
like,
out
do
with
we
each other as if we
know
don't know each other.
Yeah.
But then
say
how
though-
quickly you heal and how quickly you move from those things when you've
Yeah.
actually just said it and communicated about it and
That's
when
so
I fully
good.
open about
I
it.
will say some of those things take some time to build true, which I don't know. I feel safe and secure 10 years in
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be vulnerable about
Yeah.
those things. hopefully you feel that a lot sooner, and you can create
Right,
the space
right,
for
right,
each other to feel that.
Yeah.
You know, so
But
you
if-
have to
yeah.
work for the.
If we had gotten to some counseling,
Yeah,
year one of marriage, and some of this stuff got forced out that did in the counseling
Yeah.
room and stuff. Yeah, but it does take time. One of our good friends, I remember he's been married for longer than a couple decades, and he was like, it wasn't until maybe year like 14 or something, he said, that I felt like I could say literally anything to my wife, and it would be okay. That was encouraging to me because I was like, okay, like it's a journey, it's a process.
That's
but I
awesome.
think too many people don't. You kind of just stall somewhere, and it's like, this is the amount we're going to know each other,
Yeah,
and
you,
that's
you
it.
could keep
And
that
we're just
going
going to coast for
forever,
the rest of our
and
lives from
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And what you miss out on is growing deeper in your trust of each other, intimacy with each other, which I think we are just. I feel like we're in a new wave of our marriages, like like new learning for a lot of things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
no,
takes
man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. What Devo is it, by the way?
The Lescos, the marriage devotion.
Got it. Okay.
Called
Yeah.
the marriage devotion.
Okay.
Devotional?
Yeah.
Devotion.
And like any devotional, there's good content, and they're obviously
Yeah.
brilliant people. But what matters is if you actually answer the questions at the end with each other out loud.
Yeah.
We like
okay.
force each other
Forced to
to.
have conversation.
Okay,
about
what did
those
you
things,
write
yeah.
down? Okay, elaborate on.
Is it a
that.
daily thing, or do you
Yeah.
guys do it?
We
Okay.
don't do it every single
We
day.
don't.
Yeah. Okay.
You
gotcha.
can, but yeah, we.
Okay.
Kinda,
It's we have to plan ahead
Yeah.
with kids. But
Yeah.
okay, we probably need to do a part 2 of this conversation.
Sure.
Because I feel like we're scratching the surface on so many more things.
We
could
got a
talk
lot of
about.
stuff. Yeah.
And would love to get people, if you have questions you'd like to ask
Yes.
for
Yeah.
from a marriage perspective or a dating perspective or whatever, that we could answer the next time.
we are experts.
Not experts, but we're learning. But we also have some great people in our
not.
lives who are
So
experts who have
not.
spoken into our lives. So I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
what we share is older couples who have spoken through us.
Very much.
That's
So,
all
Kayla, start
anybody
storing up
has
some
ever
questions
shared,
for
is
part
things
2.
that older
yes,
people have
I'll
spoken
start.
into them.
Okay,
Sam,
Kayla's
would you
making her
like to
list.
have our guests back another time?
Yeah, I think this went well.
Yeah.
So
You
I
think
feel
it
like
went
we should
well?
have it. We should do
Okay,
it. again.
well, we'll
More
find a
jokes
time
next
soon.
time.
We'll
We
just-
also wanted to shout
More
out to our
jokes.
sponsors.
Yes, please.
Yes.
AG1, AG1,
A1 steak sauce as well.
A1, I love
Sure.
steak.
Yeah. I drink a
Single
bottle
today,
of A1
available
steak sauce
everywhere.
every
Books are
morning.
sold.
That's right.
And
Really? It seems unhealthy.
No, that's what we're talking about, right?
That's it. That's
Athletic
it.
Greens.
Athletic
Yes.
Take it
Oh,
every
They
day.
said to not say athletic greens anymore. You have to say AG1.
Oh, AG1.
Really?
Obviously,
AG1.
yes.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah,
the clarification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job, Kayla.
Did
Way
they
to-
also
Thank you,
say?
Jacob.
Did
Thank
they
you,
also say anything
Kayla,
else
for
like
having us.
we're gonna sponsor you?
Depends on our views, so we have to get more views, I think.
Yeah,
So
share this.
smash that like button.
Wow.
Share this with everyone you know.
Join us
Subscribe.
next week, last week.
Notifications.
Yes.
2 weeks.
Okay, coming
All
up,
the
we're gonna have a full episode where Doug and Ryan and I are gonna talk deeper into your message about pornography.
Correct.
And talk real about that.
Yep.
We'll do a part 2 of this at some point soon.
Yep.
We got good stuff coming up.
Yep.
Share this.
Come on.
Yes.
Thanks for letting us be on.
Thanks for having us.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for being here.
The honor is all yours. Love
Wow,
you.
thank you.